Welcome back to After the Movies, the show where we talk about movies after you've watched the movies. My name is Luke.
I am Jonathan.
And we're here to talk about Spectre, the latest Bond movie in the Bond movie franchise of Bond movies. And I will say, just right off the bat, the opening shot, not the very first opening shot, but that opening, like, contiguous shot, like, just
The one shot.
the one shot, fantastic. And for me, like, I was like watching it, I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. And then suddenly, like, there's a guy in white suddenly in the frame, and I'm focused on him, but he came out of nowhere, and I was like, whoa. And so like, to have a movie start with me feeling like, whoa, that felt great.
I had heard a lot about that opening sequence being really good. I agree that shot is really what makes that opening sequence really good because it's just really well done.
Go Movi or whatever
Just
knockoff you have.
phenomenal. Great
Yeah.
setup for the whole thing. Everything
Yep.
after that I really don't care about. But
Yeah, and that's the sad part, right? This opening shot that's great, and then the movie just kind of starts going downhill from there, and that was kind of a bummer for me.
yeah. So Spectre. Here's the thing about Spectre, okay? Spectre, in my opinion, actually has a lot of things in it that I love. And by that I mean ideas. It's got a lot of ideas and situations they're trying to build to that I actually really love where they were trying to go with this movie. I think that there are two big problems with this movie not getting those moments done well. Number one being that the script is written in such a way that everything feels forced and not driven by characters or by choices or really anything. It's just kind of like people just kind of do stuff. I mean, there are, I mean, yes, there's a logical course of events here and there where it's like, yes, I understand that you would do this if this happened.
Yeah, it's not totally illogical that
Right.
someone would do
It's
this,
not Prometheus.
but but it's not motivated either. Or if it is motivated, it's not motivated out of a character decision.
And or we don't have enough information or enough moments to really connect. So, for
Yeah.
instance, the Bond character apparently had a mentor when, and by the way, after the movie spoilers, but had a mentor that basically took him in when he was orphaned and was like a father figure to
I'm
him.
pretty sure it was Liam Neeson, and this is the movie Batman.
Anyway, it's like so basically Bond had a father figure when he was young before he became Bond, right? And I know this because they told me
And
and
it's exposition.
they showed me a picture. Like not even a
Yeah.
picture that I could really buy into.
Yep.
And they tried to use the picture again to be like, and look in the back, it's Blowfield. And I was like, Blowfield? Like, I guess. I mean, if you're saying that's what he is, I get the inference. There's no one else it should be, but that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
From an audience perspective, it's not that I can't follow along. You're telling what's going on, but this is a visual medium. This is a storytelling medium. You should get me involved in character and show like even if your flashbacks aren't the greatest thing in the world, they're a useful tool. They can be overused. They can be maybe even cheesy. Like oh my gosh, flashback. But again, that's better than just showing me a picture and pretending like I suddenly have the depth of understanding and emotional connection to that character and the event that's in Bond's life that I'm just now hearing about.
Yeah, and to have and to only hear about it, right? To be like, by the way, so you remember when that happened when we were kids? Well, that's what happened. Oh man, I'm really mad about that. Well, I as the audience am not,
Right.
because I wasn't there. So like the fact that you're telling Bond this and you two are having this little like bro experience here, like it doesn't translate.
So there's
That
part of the script is things
terrible.
like that.
Yep.
Where things
Yep.
just don't work. Okay. On the other hand, are things like Monty Penny being called by Bond in the middle of the night, and she's got a visitor, a male suitor is
Some
in her
dude.
bed, right? And it's like set up. The guy asks a question, she gives a line about it, right? And Bond's like, "Well, who's that in your bed?" Now they make a big deal of it, and on the one hand, you can say yes, that's just character interaction between Monty Penny and Bond, and letting them have that. Now, it, I mean, that's what it ends up being in the movie, okay? But that's not good enough. What's
Mhm.
better is just take that C-section dude, that new guy who's basically Moriarty but not, which I know you get really pissed off about.
Really pissed off. Okay, because if you're gonna be Moriarty and you're gonna be this crazy character who just does things because you're like so insanely brilliant that you just can't even handle it, like that's awesome. And then if you're gonna go and be that actor and play that exact same character who's a guy who just really feels strongly about international security,
I think I have to say that the reason that falls flat, and I don't necessarily think that he was trying to act like Moriarty. I think the problem is that Moriarty, even though he's kind of crazy, has these moments of being kind of still and silent, and it's like, oh,
Mm,
you're scared because you're like, oh, he's still, he's stiff, he's silent, he's thinking about something,
yeah,
and
what's
then
he
he goes
doing?
crazy,
Yeah,
and then he goes stiff and silent again.
yeah,
And this guy is just stiff and silent the whole time because of the character, and so it reminds you of Moriarty, but just makes you hate it because Moriarty would be terrifying or interesting, and this guy is just a stiff and
not
silent character, right?
not interesting at
But
all.
the
Okay,
point being, that character, right? We just introduced him. What if, like, so is Monty Penny sleeping with him, and that's
I
part of how
totally
he's
thought that's who it was in the bed.
is that part of how he's getting information about Bond
Yep,
and stuff like, and that's like, oh, okay, interesting, and it never came to
and no,
fruition, right? Like
no,
that never happened.
that's
Which,
that's not what happened.
okay, like, and that's the thing. It's like either like why show us then? Like, there's no point, there's no connection back in. It's just kind
Yep,
of superfluous. So
yep.
either it's really superfluous things that just don't feel like there's any reason for them, or there's like really important things that we didn't have time to connect to or didn't really get justified or something.
Or you just wrote the line of dialogue instead of taking the time to, I don't know, show me in the movie that happening.
That's the biggest problem is
Yep.
just the script had a lot of that going on in it. The second biggest problem is the character of Bond. This movie, I really love I feel like the intent behind it, where it was trying to go. I really actually love the idea as far as what I could see, which is really Bond changing and becoming a different person and living a different life. That's really what this movie's trying to do. The problem is that they won't let it happen because Bond is Bond. This is a Bond film, and people are expecting, misogynistic. And that, by the way, that still happens. Like, and that's the point. There's these scenes where Bond's basically just showing up and betting women for no apparent reason, just because, and like it's somehow just happening, which we all like know that going in because Bond's Bond. We've had 20 of these films. We've seen it happen 1,000 times. But in this movie, where you're trying to set these ideas, and essentially you're trying to get to a place where Bond's going to be a human being again, or that's the thought behind it.
It could be.
It could be right, or I guess yeah, it could be. That was the potential there, and
Yep.
they didn't do it.
Nope.
The end, when Bond decides to let Blofeld live and go live a life with the girl, that is a great moment of essentially poetic justice and also a character change of I'm going to keep my humanity, and by living, it's actually the greatest defeat to this other character who spent his entire life trying to kill people I love and destroy
Yeah.
everything. By living a good life, that ruins everything he's ever done.
Yep.
And that's phenomenal. That's a great theme. It's a great idea. That's a great
Mhm.
ending place. Everything before it simply does not really truly build up to that. And Bond, the character, has too many Bond moments that are not framed in such a way to show that he's either struggling with it or that it's somehow like you can do that and be like Bond still Bond. Bond still is still doing these things and then have a moment where it's like things start to change again.
Yep.
I think, this is another one of my, if I could rewrite the script moments, right? But really what you should have done here is especially since you're trying to connect all the movies together, is what you should have done is this new character, this new woman who shows up. First of all, we need to make sure that there's a reason why she would like him, which is hard. It's really hard because
Yeah.
Bond's
It's
Bond,
Bond. Yeah.
right? Like, why would any self-respecting good woman that would be worth living your life with, who's not just someone you're betting,
Right.
right? Who would that be? How would that person ever really love Bond? Unless it's some sort of like extraordinary grace or mercy, which even that would be phenomenal, but
Yeah.
that's not established.
Or play up the fact that they say in a line of dialogue about how because her father was an assassin, she can understand him, and even though she's like, you know what, I can't go back to that life, and gives him a reason to change, and he actually changed. Like, hey, there's like great opportunities that you could have mined for that.
And the problem is, right, the script only does these little lines of dialogue to make you think that barely, but it
Yeah.
doesn't really show you.
It doesn't do it.
And
Take you there.
that's the thing about
Yeah.
this movie. Like what they should have been doing things like that. They should have been, it would have been great arc for Bond again because Bond feels very Skyfall, Casino Royale. There's things going on. He may be misogynist, betting women, but it's all like in Casino Royale. It's all we find out kind of an act, right? It's all just kind of an act. He's putting it on to try and protect himself. He falls in love with Vesper, and then at the end, it all crushes him.
Yep.
And so then he really becomes like he doubles down on the idea of I will never trust anyone. I'll
Don't
never
let anybody in.
right, and that's great. That's why I like Casino Royale at the end of the day. But and Skyfall even has some of that. That's like I actually care about M. I really do care about her, like I'm like a motherly figure. I care about her, and I have to get through this. And even that's really good. But this movie doesn't have any real arc for him as much as it's just kind of like again, I'm just doing things. I'm just fighting, and I'm supposed to be angry at this guy. Like again, The feeling is I'm supposed to be angry at this
Yes,
person.
rather than I
Am
am
angry at this person.
angry at the person. And that's for me the way that this movie kind of fell apart. What came like snapped into focus in this scene with Q when he is on the little like ski trolley whatever thingy, and then he
Gun truck.
notices that there's the assassins coming after him, and then he has to get away. So he runs through the crowd, and he runs through the crowd, turns a corner, and darts through the door and closes the door, and the assassins run past him. But I never saw him notice the door, realize that the assassins were far enough behind him that they wouldn't see him get into it, and make the choice to do so. He just ran around the corner and into the door and closed it, which happens throughout the entire movie as just the script told me to do it instead of having a reason for it. And that ties into a lot of what you're talking about here, where the script has it. So therefore we do it, not because my character, I am experiencing this and going through that emotion in that moment.
And to be fair, I honestly like the Q thing for me. I just didn't notice anything like that, and I think that actually happens in a lot of movies. But that doesn't mean that it's necessarily good, because again, I think there's an idea of what's the better sequence, what's the better scene. Is the
Mm-hmm.
better scene that the character just does it and it happens like and it's kind of out of nowhere, but that's how they evade, or is the better scene that the character even just giving a shot or two, like you said, if you give a shot of him noticing it and then making a decision,
Yes.
then it even feels better, right? Because it feels like the character made a decision, and it's like, oh, he outsmarted them, right?
Right.
That's the feeling. So what's the better sequence, right?
Right.
And that's a small, almost minute detail, but right, yeah, that's a small version. Bond and this girl is the big version. Like
Right.
that's the kind of stuff going on in this script in this movie that's just not letting it really come together.
Yeah.
But if you'd done a different thing, it would have been really. I think it would have been one of the best Bond films ever because you actually went somewhere no other Bond film has ever tried to go, which is Bond regains his humanity, leaves his life that he once had, like that he's been doing, to become a different, better person. That's something we've never ever seen
Yeah.
in a Bond movie.
And we could have used that last sequence where he makes the choice not to shoot and instead spend time the rest of his life with the hot blonde. Like that would have actually had like
Meaning.
gravitas to it.
And then if Daniel Craig, hopefully, I really do hope that he doesn't come back.
Yeah,
Not
I
because
think he's done.
I don't think Daniel Craig's a bad actor.
No.
I just think that this series has come to a point where if he comes back,
Yeah.
everything this movie was trying to do at least is undone.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have any meaning. And you can tell Daniel Craig by his interviews, and even by some people think the way he performed, that he's done with it as it is. But that's the thing. It's a send-off movie.
Yep.
And it's a change. It's a great chance to have a change. And
Yep.
that's the thing. It's an anthology. Like it's Bond. It's always a new Bond every 5 years, something
Yep.
anyway. So go somewhere. Try
Yeah.
something.
Do something.
You did it with
Yep.
Casino Royale. You set the stage for the morally gray, actual human interaction Bond, not just the I'm going to go use a gadget Bond, but I actually care and think about things and get hurt Bond.
Mhm.
So go somewhere, let him change, let him become a real character, and end your movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the problem with Spectre. Again, I actually I might even watch the movie again at some point because there are some good sequences like the beginning, and I actually like where this movie's trying to go enough that I might be willing to rewatch it, but it's not a good movie. I can't with any real gravitas or reason behind it say that this is a good movie. This is
Yeah.
you should go see this. It's just that this could have been a great movie.
Yeah, and it held my attention as I watched it. But yeah, thinking back about the possibility of rewatching it, I'm like, well, yeah, but I'd probably fast forward through the car chase sequence.
Right, and that's probably what I do too.
Totally like edit out the entire plane sequence. I would get beyond, like it's just none of that really works. None of it's good.
Also, this movie's trying to, again, the Bond character being a problem, and really the Bond mythology and history is the issue here because you've got the classic iconic villains, Jaws and Oddjob with the hat, and even in the Xenia Onatopp, like you've always had these villains that are these, like they've got these crazy things they do, and they kind of like they kill you in weird ways, and that's fine, that's Bond. But notice they tried to do that with Dave Bautista's character, right? And yeah, he puts this guy's eyes out, which is just brutal and graphic and gross. Which okay,
cool.
he's a big strong guy.
He's a bad guy. Yeah.
But that's the thing. They go there, but he's got to be one of the most generic versions of that. He is the big strong guy.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
How did he survive the car crash? There's no reason or thought behind it. It's just like
he's big
and strong, so he survived a car crash.
Yep.
He's big and strong, so he punched through the one thing the one time. even again, Jaws is big and strong. He also had jaws that he like bit through things with
Yeah.
that were like weird. You're like, what in the crap?
Yeah.
That's the thing. So they didn't go far enough because they didn't want to. I guess they didn't want to be campy or whatever.
Sure.
But they're also being campy. That's the whole problem. This movie keeps going back and forth. What do you want to be? What are you trying to do?
Move forward and do something good. Build a relationship with your characters and have them all make choices based on the decisions of who they are now and where they've come from, and show us growth. All those things I'd like. And if you'd done that, this movie would, one, be a lot better, because two, it'd be a different movie.
Yep.
Well, there you go. All right, sweet. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for After the Movies. Tune in next time when we'll talk about another movie, which will be awesome.
Bye bye.